Stocks took another hit today, the second straight day as the president's new tariffs take effect. The Dow dropped 400 points in its final hour of trading, leaving it down nearly 700 points. The S&P and Nasdaq also down for a second consecutive day. Joining us this afternoon to discuss is Brian Jacobson, a chief economist at Annex Wealth Management. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. At midnight, that tariff, the 25% tariff kicked in for goods coming in from Canada and Mexico. So why are we seeing the stock market respond in the way it has right before the tariffs kicked in and then today after those tariffs are active?
Yeah, I think that the market was really looking at things as far as, is President Trump using this as a negotiating tactic, or is he actually willing to follow through on the threat? And it proved that, yes, he is willing to follow through on these threats. So I think that was a little bit of a surprise to a lot of market participants, thinking that maybe we could get some sort of deal between Canada and Mexico to deal with immigration and drug trafficking so that those tariffs wouldn't go into place. But apparently they weren't able to come to an agreement. And when you get a surprise like that, it's bound to cause some sort of market reaction.
And the impact expected to hit many industries. We have a statement from Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford. He is quoted as saying long-term, a 25% tariff across Mexico and Canada borders would blow a hole in the U.S. industry that we have never seen. Your response to that statement?
Well, I think that it is true because we have seen about 30 years worth of integrating Mexico, United States, and Canada with the supply chains, especially for the auto industry. Now, you can argue whether or not that was a good idea, but the fact is that to change that type of configuration is going to be costly and it will play out over time. So this could be very disruptive to the auto industry. Even thinking about here in Wisconsin, the extent to which our businesses here, in terms of, think about transmission shafts, the gears, things like that, all the different parts that go into the automobiles, we could see local effects from this global issue.
And Canada and Mexico both vowing to retaliate. In fact, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau out of Canada calling the Trump tariffs, quote, very dumb, saying the president is appeasing Russia while launching a trade war against Canada, and then in turn issuing retaliatory tariffs of more than $100 billion on American goods.
Yeah, that's true. And a lot of those we could feel here in Wisconsin because some of the things that are being targeted are things like, say, beverages coming from Wisconsin, also from other areas as well, but then agricultural imports as well. So what Canada imports from Wisconsin. Wisconsin, about 10% of our gross domestic product here is tied to trade, and about 75 to 90%, depending upon the month or the year, goes to either Mexico or Canada. So retaliation is likely to be felt here by a lot of businesses.
And President Trump saying there's nothing anyone can say to change his mind on these tariffs. So with that, I'll ask you bluntly, are we at the beginning of a trade war? And if so, where does that leave our economy long term and the everyday American, their home, their family, their bottom line?
Yeah, it is a trade war. Up to this point, it's just been a threat of a trade war, but now it's actually in place. But remember, we could get a truce. We don't know exactly what's going on from a diplomatic perspective behind closed doors. Is this going to be temporary? What is it that Mexico and Canada can do or say to convince President Trump that they're doing enough on immigration and drug trafficking to lift these tariffs? So the story is not yet finished.
It certainly is not. Great perspective there. Brian Jacobson, chief economist at Annex Wealth Management here in Southeast Wisconsin. Thanks for joining us here.
Thank you.